Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Welcome you all in PIST Virtual Learning System Session 2020. Dear students, this lecture is for grade first year, subject Computer Science. This is our 17th video lecture, and we are on chapter number 4 inside System Unit. Dear students, today I'm going to start exploring the system unit, ports, types of ports, serial ports and parallel ports, and then PS2 port and USB port. So let's start with expansion slots. Dear students, an expansion slot is a long narrow socket on the motherboard on which circuit board expansion cards are inserted to add new capabilities to the computer. So in previous lecture we discussed about the motherboard. So motherboard is basically the main board on which we can attach all components. So expansion slots are also on motherboard, and if you want to increase the some capabilities of your computer system, so you can use expansion card, and in expansion slots you can insert those expansion card. There are different types of expansion slots on the motherboard in which various types of cards are fixed. These include video display, sound modem, and network cards. So if you want to increase the sound of your system, so you can enhance your sound card and you can insert sound card in expansion slot. You can insert modem card, network card. In modern computer, the circuitry of many of these cards is integrated in the motherboard itself to reduce size and cost. Expansion slot standard include AGP, PCI, and PCI Express. Expansion slots you can view here on your screen. So here you can insert your expansion cards to enhance the features and capabilities of your system unit. If you want to increase the graphics, if you want to increase the sound system of your computer system, so you can increase with the help of these cards. AGP, it stands for Accelerated Graphics Port. It provides a high-speed channel for attaching video card to a motherboard. It provided a dedicated pathway between the processor and the graphics card. Its bus width is 32 bits. So AGP stands for Accelerated Graphics Port, which is used to provide a high-speed channel for attaching video card to the motherboard. It provides a dedicated pathway between the processor and the graphic card. PCI, it is used to attach different expansion cards to the computer. It is still used in some computers but is suppressed by PCI Express. PCI Express was designed to replace PCI and AGP standards. PCI Express has a bus width of 32 bits. It is the latest standard expansion slot used in micro and laptop computers. The main advantage of PCI Express is that it provides high speed serial communication. So dear students, basically PCI is the latest standard of expansion slot, which is used in microcomputer and which is used in laptop computer. And this is the latest expansion slot which can enhance the capabilities of your microcomputer and laptop computers. The main advantage of PCI Express is that it provides high speed serial communication. So in the diagram you can view PCI Express 16-bit. Here on your screen you can view. So next is ribbon cable. Ribbon cable, it has several parallel wires in the same flat plane that looks like a piece of ribbon, which is why it is called ribbon cable. It was used in the past for transmitting information between motherboard and devices such as floppy drive, hard disk, and CD-ROM. So in computers, inside the computer system, we have ribbon cable and all the components which we want to make the part of a system unit inside the computer on the motherboard. So with the help of ribbon cable, we can attach it like hard disk, CD, floppy disk. We can attach with the help of this ribbon cable. Actually, this ribbon cable is a several parallel wires in the same flat panel that looks like a piece of a ribbon, which you can use. Then we have following the different types of ribbon cable interface. We have different types of ribbon cables, IDE interface and cable. IDE stands for Integrated Drive Electronics. IDE interface was developed by Western Digital for attaching hard drive to motherboard. So this IDE interface cable is used to connect your hard drive to motherboard. The first hard drive that used IDE interface appeared in compact PCs in 1986. Hard drives that had IDE interface had drive controller integrated into the drive itself rather than having a separate controller on the motherboard. So Western Digital introduced new hard drives in 1994 with enhancement to IDE interface and name Enhanced IDE, EIDE, and IDE interface cable is you can view on your screen. So basically, IDE cable is an integrated drive electronics IDE and which is used to connect your hard drive to the motherboard. And in 1986, Compact PC introduced it, and hard drive that had IDE interface had drive controller integrated into the drive itself rather than having a separate controller on the motherboard. Then we have SATA interface and cable. Serial Advanced Technology Attachment. SATA is a new computer interface bus for connecting drives to computer. It was designed to replace EIDE bus interface. SATA bus interface is used in all the modern laptops and desktop computers. It drives communicate via high-speed serial cable, and SATA bus interface has many advantages over the older EID standard. These include faster and more efficient data transfer rate and reduce cable size and cost. SATA 1, 2, and SATA 3 interface provide communication at rates of 1.5 GB per second, 3 GB per second, and 6 GB per second, respectively. A SATA interface cable is, you can view on your screen. So this cable is a high-speed cable and it is used to replace your IEDE interface. Okay, this is the fastest cable and the new way which is used in all type of laptops, computers, and desktop computers, in modern laptops and desktop computers. So this bus interface is used in all modern laptops, computers, and this is a high-speed serial cable. And this interface has many advantages over the older EID standard. These include faster and more efficient way for the communication. It reduces the cable size and the cost as well. Then we have memory slots. These are slots on the motherboard, connects RAM with the CPU. So generally, there are a memory slot, RAM cards are inserted in these slots, and these cards, there are two memory slots. RAM cards are inserted in these slots. RAM card is printed circuit board having a series of RAM chip. So memory slots basically is used to enhance the memory and the RAM of your computer system. So on the motherboard, you have a memory slot. Here you can view on the diagram. So these are the memory slot, and here you can insert the RAM or a memory card in these slot. So basically the purpose of this is to enhance the memory and increase the size of your memory of your computer system. Then we have disk controller. Disk controller is a circuit that allows communication between CPU and any type of drive, such as floppy drive, hard drive, or CD drive. Old disk controller were implemented on an example separate controller and card. Modern disk controller are integrated into the disk drive itself. For example, EID and SATA hard drives have their disk controller circuit inside the drive. So disk controller allow the communication between CPU and many other types of devices like floppy drive, CD-ROM drive, and all disk controller. So it provides the connection between the CPU and disk controllers. All disk controller, in disk controller we have hard disk, CD-ROM, floppy ROM. Okay, all these are drives, and disk controller provide the connection between these drives. Next we have cooling system. Cooling system is required to maintain a proper operating temperature inside the system unit. Computer components installed inside the system unit produce heat when the computer is on. If the temperature inside the system unit reaches a certain point, it can damage the parts. A fan is fixed on the top of the microprocessor to cool it down. Heat sinks are also used to dissipate the surface area. Many computers are designed to turn themselves off if the temperature exceeds certain level. A fan for cooling microprocessor is always used to provide the cooling system inside the computer system. So here you can view, this is a fan, and this is used to provide a cooling system inside the computer system. So every component, dear students, inside the computer system on the motherboard, we have various type of components which work together. So each component needs some sort of current and generate heat. So cooling system exhausts the heat outside the computer system, outside the system unit. So a fan is fixed on the top of the microprocessor to cool it down. Heat sinks are also used to dissipate the surface area. So many computers designed to turn themselves off if the temperature exceeds to the certain level. So cooling system is required to maintain proper operating temperature inside the system. Basically, cooling system is used to always maintain the proper operating temperature inside the system unit. If it increase, it exhausts the heat, and if they need, they turn off the system unit automatically. Bus. Dear students, if you remember, we have discussed this topic in the previous lecture in detail. Here is some overview. A bus is a common electrical pathway between multiple devices. So if you remember, bus is a set of parallel wires which are used to transfer your data inside the computer system. So basic purpose of the bus is transportation, provide the transportation to between different components. It can be internal to the CPU to transport data to and from the ALU, can be external to the CPU to connect it to memory or to IO devices. Early PC had single external bus or a system bus. Modern PC have a special purpose bus between the CPU and memory, and at least one other bus for the IO devices. So basically, bus is a set of parallel wires which is used to provide the connection and transportation of data, addresses, and signals. So we have three main types of buses: data bus, address bus, and control bus. Data bus is a bidirectional bus which is used to transfer your data signals, your data and instruction itself, and it's a bidirectional. It is used to transfer your data from memory to CPU and then CPU to memory back. Used to carry data signals like numbers which we want to add or to a string which we want to compare. Transfer data from main memory, RAM to CPU and device, and vice versa or other parts of computer. So address bus basically is used to carry your addresses. This is a unidirectional bus which is carry your addresses, and always CPU send the address to the memory to locate the data. So address bus is responsible to transfer the addresses of your data and then locate the address, and after locating the address, data is transferred on data bus. So it is used to carry address signals, addresses of the memory location or a port interface where an input or output device is attached. Control bus basically is used to provide the synchronization and control the data bus and address bus. It used to carry the control signal, read, write, enable, disable, and provide the synchronization between the data bus and the address bus. Ports. So dear student, ports are basically physical interface of your computer system. In computer hardware, a port serves as an interface between the computer and the other computers or peripheral devices. In computer terms, a port generally refers to the part of a computing device available for connection to peripheral devices such as input and output devices. Computer ports have many uses to connect a monitor, webcam, speakers, or other peripheral devices. On the physical layer, a computer port is a specialized outlet on a piece of equipment to which a plug or cable connects. Electronically, the several conductor where the port and cable connects provide a method to transfer signals between the devices. So in terms of computer, basically the ports are the interface, a physical interface or a connection where you can attach your all external IO devices. All your IO devices, your peripheral devices, you can attach on the physical interface. So port has the following characteristics. External devices are connected to a computer using cables and ports. Ports are slots on the motherboard into which a cable of external devices plugged in. Examples of external devices attached via port are the mouse, keyboard, monitor, microphone, speaker, USBs. So here you can check different kinds of ports are available. So ports are basically sockets or an interface. And if you want to attach any external IO device and want to make the part of a system unit, so you can connect those devices on ports. Suppose you want to attach the mouse, so you can have a socket, you can have a plug at the end of the cable. So you can insert that plug on the port. After attaching your mouse on the port, so your mouse will be the part of a computer system. So like this, you can attach your printer, scanner, webcam, monitor on different ports. Even if you have a data traveler USB, so you can attach your USB on USB port, and then you can access your data with the help of USB port. You can access your data traveler, open your files, copy paste, and you can move your data easily. So here are some ports you can see. So some ports, here we have basically different types of ports. We have serial ports, parallel ports, some are communication ports, some are local printer ports, USB ports, games ports, PS2 ports. So here you can check the variety of ports are available. Even if you want to add headphone, speaker, and mic with your computer system, so you can insert in sound card and in sound port. Here at the back side of a 3 color holes you have, and you can insert your mic, headphone, and speaker on these ports. So following are the different types of ports. The first of all, we have serial ports. This type of ports provides an interface to connect to peripheral devices using a serial protocol. In this port, the rate of transmission of data is 1 bit at a time through a single communication line. They are most commonly used for connection to mouse and modems, used for external modems and holder computer mouse. Two versions are available for the serial ports, 9 pins and 25 pins model. Data traveler at 1.1 115 kilobits per second. So serial ports transmit one bit of data at a time. In old computer, serial ports had 9 and 24 or 25 pins, in which one pin was used for transmitting data and the rest transmitted signals, and these were called COM1, communication 1. COM stands for communication, that is abbreviation of communication. So these are communication port COM1, COM2 and COM3. Generally, modem were connected to these ports. These ports have been replaced with the USB port. So here we can check the serial port, which have 9 to 25 pins. So you can attach your devices with the help of serial port. Then we have the next type, that is parallel port. As the name suggests, a parallel port is an interface that allows communication or data transfer between a computer and a device in a parallel manner through more than one communication line. For example, a printer port is a parallel port. It is used for scanners and printers, also called printer port. 25-pin models are here in IEEE 1284 complaints, and Centronics ports are the examples of this parallel port. So basically the parallel ports can transmit multiple bits over several wires at a time. These ports had 25 pins, in which 8 pins transmit 1 byte of information and the other were used for transmitting control signals. Parallel ports were named as LPT, local printer ports 1, LPT1, LPT2 and LPT3. These ports have been replaced with the USB ports as well. Then we have PS2 mouse port on the back of the PC connects to the mouse. This port was originally invented so that the other devices like modems could use the serial port. The PS2 port was also known as the mouse port. This is the most widely used port for the connection of mouse to the computer system. So PS2 ports used for old computer keyboard and mouse, also called mouse port. Most of the old computers provide PS2 port, each for the mouse and keyboard. So PS2 stands for IBM Personal System. Basically, it stands for IBM Personal System 2 microcomputer. PS2 system introduced a new type of port for connecting keyboard and mouse. So PS2 port 6-pin mini DIN connector, only used for mouse and keyboards, color coded purple for keyboard and green for mouse. Here you can check the PS port, and here color is there, the purple and the green. So purple is used for the keyboard and green is used for the mouse. So you can attach your mouse with the help of this green port, which is called PS2 ports, and purple connector can be inserted here, and this is keyboard port. So PS is a new type of port for connecting keyboard and mouse, which are still used in many computers. And nowadays it is replaced by the USB ports as well. Nowadays we have a USB port on which we can attach the USB mouse, USB keyboard. So dear students, here is a USB port. USB port is a standard cable connection interface for personal computers and consumer electronics devices. USB stands for Universal Serial Bus, an industry standard for short distance digital data communication. USB ports allow USB devices to be connected to each other with and transfer digital data over USB cable. They can also supply electric power across the cable to devices that need it. Both wired and wireless version of the USB standard exist, although only the wired version involves USB port and cable. So basically USB stands for Universal Serial Bus. It provides very fast serial transmission. It is the most commonly used port in modern computers for connecting a large variety of devices to the computer, such as printer, scanner, cameras, mouse, keyboard, and USB flash drives. So nowadays, all devices are connected with the help of a USB cable. So if you want to attach a mouse with the computer system, so you can attach on a USB port. You can want to attach the cameras You can want to attach the printer in the scanner. So with the help of a USB port, you can attach it. USB port, and these are plug and play ports. When you will attach, plug and play means that whenever you will attach the cable, automatically it will play for you. The device automatically play for you. Plug and play ports automatically detect and determine what type of device is attached to the computer. When a computer detects a plug and play device, it automatically installs the driver for it or prompts the user to install it. So, dear students, USB pronounced, and the short form of Universal Serial Bus is a plug and play interface that allows a computer to communicate with peripheral and other devices. USB connected devices cover a broad range, anything from keyboard and mouse to music player and flash drive. For more information on these devices, USB may also be used in power to the certain devices such as smartphones and tablets, as well as charge their batteries. The first commercial release of Universal Serial Bus version was in January 1996. So this industry standard was then quickly adopted by Intel, Compaq, and Microsoft and other companies. Thank you so much, students. In the next lecture, we will continue this topic. Till then, Allah Hafiz.